Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful souls. I am in the process of waking up and still remembering the beautiful experience I had last night before going to sleep, or before my memory kind of disappeared. And what happened was I was just doing breath work to release and clear out my system and prepare myself for bed. And as I was doing that, I was also entering a light vehicle, a light frequency, one that's my own, and one that I do believe everyone has access to their own. So as I was doing this, what happened was I don't know where I was. It did not feel like Earth. But I stood on this ground and there was this enormous, and I'm talking enormous, tree in front of me. I looked like an ant compared to this tree. Its trunk went out into the heavens, and it wasn't necessarily like thick, but it was very, very tall. And I mean like thick as in like one of those, like, you know, here on Earth we have the thick tall trees. It was more of a, it just looked like it's not from this timeline. It was massive. And then I came out of it, out of this vision, out of this space of receiving. And I was like, what is this? And they told me the trees are speaking to you. You need to go back. And so I did go back. And as I went back, they took me back there to that massive tree, like this giant tree. And then I was taken, like I was being flown, like, I don't know if I was being flown through I don't know how to explain this, but in like being in a light vehicle, it's like instantaneous that you can end up on this another planet. And I was next second really, climbing this sand dune. And it was like this red sand dune, kind of like Egyptian sand dunes, but not. It wasn't Egypt. It just wasn't Egypt. There was no pyramids. And as I climbed this sand dune, there was another tree in the distance, and it was by itself. There was no other trees around. And I received that firstly, I received that I have done this in another lifetime. I have worked with the trees in another lifetime. I have watched these ancient beings in another lifetime, studying them, researching them, learning from them, finding them really across the galaxy. And this other tree, what I learned from it in this like desert-like environment was that it was the only single tree there. And I didn't feel anything else living there at the moment, but its roots were into that planet. And what it did was, it also was learning about the planets, and it would send its frequency, so anything that happened on this planet it knew about, and it would keep that in its storage, like an Akashic record storage, and then send that off to its motherboard. And it was just really fascinating. And then I went over to this motherboard where, I don't know if this is where the trees started. I do apologize. I am making coffee as well as I'm recording this, so you're going to hear the coffee in the background. But I went there, and it was very technological, very bear with me, sorry, I'm back. So it was very technological, and it felt like a spaceship more than a planet. I just saw like these massive screens, and it was like all the data or the information was playing out on these screens. And as I was there, they spoke to me and said, I was like, is this where all the different species are? And are they all held here where, like, and it wasn't a tree that we would have here on planet Earth. It was very different. It was very interesting. It was from memory, like a moving tree, like us humans. But it was very different. I don't know if it just appeared that way for my own, for me, because sometimes that's how they appear, in a safe space for you. But then it told me that no, like each planet, like everywhere these trees grow, they also have their own mission. When trees choose to incarnate here on Earth and be part of Earth and Earth's ascension process, they were aware of everything that's going on. There was never ever this many different types and species or trees created here, yet the trees understood that they would have to continue to adjust to the current period that they're living in. They knew that they also knew that humans were going to use them for, to create furniture, for materials, for food, for essential oils, for shelter, for clothing, for paper, for various reasons. And in so doing this, they gave up themselves because they knew that there would be others that would then want to try and keep them or understand that they have more of a purpose. Now, back in those days, the purpose is more of a physical purpose, like your furniture, your clothing, your paper, the food. But so in saying that, they understood that this is how they were going to stay here on Earth, which is so freaking amazing. They're so intelligent. They are such conscious beings. And it was such an amazing experience to be flying to these different planets, experiencing the trees that I've never seen before here on Earth, and then going to the motherboard or the original place where the trees originate from, and finding out this information about the trees. And so they knew they had to adapt. So hence why there are so many different species here, because there are so many different climates, and they are all different countries as well, brought across to different countries. They knew they would have to adapt. Now, they also told me how it works. So they are record keepers. They are information transmitters. They transmit it back to the motherboard. And the way they do this, the way they continue sharing this with their motherboard and in turn with the universe, is through their roots. So when a tree grows roots, they grow their roots deep into the ground, and through the ground is a connection to the underground rivers, lakes and streams. Now, as all trees have this connection through their roots to connect into this, they're constantly putting information in there. They constantly have the information available at any time. When a tree is cut down, it's put into these underground lakes, rivers and streets. Now, when a tree is built, it has that automatic information to that Akashic Records, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. And where they send back into the motherboard is through the top of the tree, through a transmission, through a frequency that's released and sent out. They are like similar to a vessel. Through the song of the tree, it gets sent back, and sound can travel so much further. And you may not be able to necessarily hear their sounds, but their sounds are occurring on a different frequency, on a different wavelength. And when we connect in with that, we too can receive their sounds, receive their wisdom, receive their love. It was, a really magical experience, and I'm just really grateful to be able to share this with people that are really interested in learning more about these ancient beings, really receiving from these ancient beings. And if you want to learn more, I am holding a 12-month journey, so you can check it out at theancientmer.com under Mystic School, and it should be the first one popping up. And honestly, it's been magical even for myself as a light worker, as a mermaid, and to be receiving such profound information, to be receiving such magic from these ancient beings. I cannot describe how ancient they are and how blessed we are to have them here on Earth, helping with Earth ascension as well, supporting us with humanity's ascension. And staying strong, really showing us many learnings, many experiences, so much love for us. All right, beautiful souls. I will speak to you soon, and I hope you enjoy this little, I'm going to call it like a little podcast, a little recording. And have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.